Hello. Okay, I'm Officer Avery at the NPD. Just, my camera's on.
That's fine.
She lives next door?
You guys have been here a lot of times for them before.
Okay. What's her name?
Her name? Her name? That's what they told me. I don't know. Yeah, her name.
Okay. So, what happened?
We were sitting over here, three of us, my wife and my 2-year-old boy, and she came walking through the yard over by my truck, took a left, came up here completely naked, besides a shirt which was like draping like this, unbuttoned.
Yeah.
With her vagina out and everything right in front of my little kid. And I quickly covered his eyes.
Okay.
Never seen anything
She
like
knocked
that
on my
before.
front door too. And it was like, open the, whoa, headlights are on.
Earlier though.
So
Okay.
I heard.
And does she live in?
No, in the building upstairs over here.
Okay. Perfect. I'm going to wait for my partner to get here.
Yeah,
So,
good idea.
just so you guys are aware, in Oregon, you can walk around completely naked. There's no law against it as long as you're not doing it. Yes.
There's your partner.
As long as you're not doing it for your sexual gratification or the gratification of somebody else. You can literally throw, we've had people throw running shoes on and dudes just go jogging naked and there's no, if she's making an effort to look at me type thing. And
I think that's what she did. She walked straight up to us. I'm sitting with my little kid. She says, look at my body, my bare naked vagina right in front of you.
That's what she said?
No, but that's what she's doing by presenting herself to us.
No, I get it. And I don't agree with it that it's okay. I'm just telling you, in Oregon, it's not a crime to do that. You can just walk around in the nude as long as you're not, it's not for a sexual
For
manner.
your information, now she has a history. It wasn't but less than a month ago that you guys were here.
Okay.
I need to get a record of you saying that because when I tell my wife, she's not going to believe that. So you're saying
I can show you the ORS, for sure.
You're saying in the state of Oregon, someone can walk up to your 2-year-old kid completely bare naked, and that's not a crime, even if it's on your property.
Correct. Well, so it's trespassing, but what I'm saying is there's no laws against the actual nudity portion of it.
So you can expose yourself to children in Oregon.
Again, if you're not doing it for sexual gratification or the gratification of somebody else, yes, you are allowed to walk around in public naked.
It's hard to believe because we're on private property. This is where I live, and someone just came and exposed themselves to my 2-year-old boy. And this officer's saying that it's not a crime. So any of you out there that are viewing this, please check and make sure that Oregon State revised statute says that you can expose yourself to little kids. Because this is unbelievable. Well, I don't even know why I bother calling you guys.
Because I'm going to do what I can to help you is what I'm trying to explain. I'm explaining that the actual...
No trespassing.
And
the actual
it's going to happen
nudity
again in the next time, but apparently I can go take my clothes off and go walk up to little kids and show them my body, and that's not a problem in the state.
If you're doing it specifically to go show a child your naked body, yes, then there's the intent behind what you're doing.
And
but
her walking up to us, where I'm sitting right here with my little kid, that doesn't constitute that.
Because of where you're talking about, and I'm telling you how law works on this, that's a common area where people would approach a residence. It's not in your backyard or in a private area. That's a public, your mailman, somebody who's coming to your door, anybody who's visiting would walk up this way. So her walking up and approaching you, if you say, hey, I don't want you here, and leave, and she turns around and leaves, she's not broken any law because she's approaching on a public right-of-way, basically how you would approach anybody's front door, okay?
Okay, earlier...
She left when she knocked on my door.
But what I'm saying is we can still trespass her, and if she ever comes up here again to your door, then yes, she's going to go to jail for trespassing.
Do it.
Right?
But she could be naked on the sidewalk.
Right there in that tree.
And that's fine. That's what I'm saying is, though, that is something that I could enforce. I was just trying to explain to you the nudity portion of it.
It's hard for me to believe, man. That's insane.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Believe me, we get calls for this type of stuff. Like I said, a guy running down Reed or north into 3rd Street, butt naked with running shoes.
But
it's not a crime.
Approaching children, though?
Again, there would have to be the intent. If it's I jump the fence at a school and I walk up to a playground full of kids naked, not okay. That's not going to be allowed.
Well, this is the playground. See the toys?
But somebody approaching the front of your house and there's a child, because there's a child outside, when they do that and they leave when they're told, they haven't committed a crime.
I don't know if it's if it's the laws that we have here, or if it's you guys not having a willingness to do something
It's
about it.
the laws that we have
As far
here.
as I'm concerned, you guys are completely fucking useless pigs. This is ridiculous.
Okay.
You can go ahead and trespass, but that's insane. Imagine if I had a little girl out here and someone was bringing their penis over in front of my little kid. Are you just saying that that's fine?
I'm trying to explain
Blame the laws.
to you.
Then. Blame the laws. But I'm saying that's as far as I'm
So
concerned.
do you
that's my
understand
feelings.
when I'm in uniform, I don't get an opinion about what I do. I get to enforce the law. I don't get to say whether
No,
I
but
personally believe it's right or wrong, and I don't think you're
that's
understanding
what you're doing,
that.
though, because you're interpreting her walking up to us.
No, I'm going off what you told me.
No, that's your interpretation.
Okay.
Yeah, so her walking up and approaching my little kid, that's her trying to expose herself to my little kid, but you're deciding, you, officer.
Would you like
Avery,
me to have
are
her
deciding.
trespass from this property?
You can go ahead and do that, but then tomorrow she can walk right there and do the exact same thing with an impunity.
You're correct, because there are no
So
laws
it's
against
worthless.
being nude in Oregon.
completely
It's
worthless.
nothing to do with a personal opinion. It's everything to do with the application of the law and what I'm
find
allowed
that-
to do in this
I
state.
find that hard to believe that if it was a man over here with his penis out, you guys would have him in cuffs right now.
Nope.
Well, I find that hard to believe, and I won't test it because I don't want to be a sex offender. But I would be a sex offender for the rest of my life if I did that. But
Do you
she could
understand
that.
when I'm talking about the intent, though?
Do you know what
right?
happened when I called 911? The lady on 911, the operator, laughed at me when I said there was a naked woman. She laughed at me.
Right.
That's the response I get from you useless fucking people. This is just the most ridiculous
Any
thing
judgment.
I've ever dealt with.
Well, I think
Thanks for
if
your
we
time.
can get to the resolution of this, I can understand your upset.
There's no resolution, though.
I
She's gonna do it again tomorrow.
I completely understand being upset.
Yeah,
like I'm not telling. I have kids. I would be upset also. Okay. But what I'm telling you is there's only certain things that I can do to hold her accountable. Trespassing is one of them. Being nude and walking up to a front door of a residence,
Like
if
walking
you're in
up
your
to a
backyard
child
and
on
she
private
walks in,
property, yeah.
different. Right? That's what I'm saying. Like the law differentiates.
That's not an easement. It's not a walkway.
So it wasn't less than a month ago. She was out here naked, throwing stuff off the porch and throwing stuff out the window. So there's a record of
Sure.
her, and she was.
I have
It's gonna happen again then. So there's nothing you guys can do.
Search and
It's
find. You're gonna
for the
find
nudity portion of it. There's really not.
So what
Like-
has to happen is I have to move then.
So,
That makes a
like
lot
I
of
said,
sense.
trespassing. She can get arrested for trespassing. If she comes up here, she can be trespassed, and she'll be arrested for that. Right?
Yeah.
Stand
I've
on
got
the-
it
on the
posted
curb then.
Right there.
If you're on the curb, there's nothing you can do about that. That's what I'm telling you. Unless she's acting in a manner that is like corresponds with sexual gratification for her, or she's trying to arouse someone else. That is specifically what the law says.
Seemed like she was trying to arouse us when she came over here earlier, knocking on your door. When
Yeah,
she came over
when-
here.
Yeah, she was standing.
Do you know
out
what
here.
her name is?
I don't know her last name. I forget. So yeah.
We're not friends.
Partner
And
is
she's
Joaquin.
upstairs in the house
Yeah,
right there.
This one right
Okay,
here.
we'll go have a chat with her.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did
So-
have an X-ray. So I don't know what happened
Okay.
to that. So
She,
Right
yeah,
up-
maybe a pre-trial or something. So
Where was she?
she walked up the
First, she was-
sidewalk.
We're sitting right here. She walked up to my child.
I'll fill you in.
Okay.
So we're gonna go have a chat with her.
All right. Cool. We'll go talk with her.
Sounds good. I'm trying to explain to them the law and like being nude and what you're explaining to me is not. Yeah. Ariel. Being nude doesn't constitute a crime. But he didn't want to listen to me. He said we're useless fucking pigs, and he shouldn't have even called us. And I was like, oh, well, this is the alley. So she's been trespassed. I just need to grab all your guys' info so I can put you in the trespass request for that. What was your name?
Yep.
What's your date of birth? Uh,
He's over here.
do you have a cell number?
Yeah.
Okay.
I gotta
So
say, man, the way-
we've notified her.
I already know all about the trespass. I understand how it works, but like the way things are going, and I see you guys took the blue stripe off your car, the politics and everything in this state. I'm sure you're a great guy, you're a great officer, but the way that this shit is heading, you're being so handicapped, you're being so held back that you either got to go somewhere else or find a different profession, because it's like, I feel like I need to just move away from this terrible, terrible state. Shit just seems to just get worse and worse. People stealing stuff out of my truck. I call you guys, they come out and they just shrug. What are you gonna do? You know,
There's
nothing you can do.
It's challenging for us because you have like getting stuff stolen out of a car in the middle of the night. Like it happens all over the city.
What it
and
is, it's the homeless. And the fact is, you can corral them, you can put them somewhere, you can tell them you can stay there, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, they're all in the same boat. They're all doing the same thing. I caught them stealing my stuff 5 different times.
Mental health and legalizing drugs are the 2 biggest problems we have, because with the drug use and it being legal, they steal everything to go get their next fix.
I know about it.
And we deal with it constantly. Sorry to hear that.
It's just insane. I don't want my kid to end up with the same shit.
No? Well, the fact that you care will probably help keep that from happening, right? I talk to a lot of parents that are like,
but I feel like
you actually care about your kid.
What can
right?
I do? You know, subject to the same thing tomorrow potentially, but it's what it is, I guess.
It sounds is if we keep documenting it and she becomes a nuisance doing that. You know what I mean? Like it gives us, it may be. Could be. But she'll screw up. She comes up here. You've got cameras. Like, you record her up on here. We told her, because all 3 of you, so she has no reason to be on this sidewalk right here, right? If it's all 3 of you guys, that's perfect, because that means it keeps you protected all the way out to the sidewalk. This is all part of your property, right? So if she cuts through here, anything, call us. She'll go to jail. Okay? Like, I'm serious. We will, like, I am happy to do whatever I can to help out for somebody who's causing issues for you like that. I just can't, I can't bend the law for my opinion, because like I've had calls like this before, you know, the neighbors out gardening butt naked in their front yard, and they're like, my kids can see from my house.
I guess we'll chalk it up to a difference of opinion, because the neighbor out gardening is different than someone approaching your child. That's different. Right. Which is what happened.
But it's not the intent to specifically, like, if your kid's out here playing and she walks up, talk to your kid naked, it's a little bit, that's a little bit different, right? Even then, it would still be hard to prove that there was a sexual intent in it, right? She's acting in a lewd manner, props herself up on the table and is like exposing herself to a kid. 100% she's going to go to jail for that. That's a sex crime, right?
So it comes down to a slight variation in action.
It's the action. Simply being nude and walking around or walking up to knock on somebody's door is in and of itself is not a crime, right? If you're in your backyard and she comes through your back fence into an area where you have a reasonable expectation of privacy and she's nude, you would be looking more like a private indecency, right? That would be against the law, just because of, that's what I'm trying to say, is the nudity and where she was doesn't make it a crime. I wouldn't like.
Talking about it more is not going to change anything. Okay. There's nothing.
I'm just hoping to give you some understanding of like where we're at and why we can't just arrest her for it. But the trespassing part, we can. That's something that that's an easily, like, she walks on your property, it's a automatic misdemeanor, straight to jail.
Yeah, a lot of people in my generation really don't like the police, but I've always been supportive of them. And it's been hard.